You are listening to the Becoming the Wealthy You podcast with Jermaine Foley. If you're a woman who makes good money in your career or business, but you're not building wealth like you want to, then you're in the right place. In this podcast, you'll learn how to stop overspending, break free from the cycle of debt, save lots of cash, and become the wealthy woman you were born to be. Let's dive in. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are going to talk about something that is super important because here's the truth. In this day and age, you can Google all the money advice in the world. But if you're like most people, you're still stressed about money. Why? Because information doesn't equal transformation. And here's the proof. Financial stress is the number one source of stress in America. It's above health, it's above work stress, and it's above family responsibilities. People are carrying this low-level hum of money stress just in the back of their mind every single day. And this is the thing. It's not because we haven't read enough books or watched enough YouTube videos. We're more financially literate than ever before. Schools are mandating it. There are podcasts and TikTok videos about money everywhere. Yet, 70% of Americans still live paycheck to paycheck. Not only that, but the total credit card debt has reached a new all-time high of $1.21 trillion. This was as of the second quarter of 2025, and this was according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And that represents a 5.87% increase over last year. So with all this financial literacy that's out there, it's not enough. Now, I talked about how 70% of Americans are still living paycheck to paycheck. Let's define what that actually means, because for some of you who are making good money in your business or your career, that may not resonate with you. I actually had a woman I was working with, and she was like, Jermaine, yeah, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but that phrase just doesn't resonate with me because I earn so well, right? I feel like I can just make more money and I'll be good. And we all know making more doesn't solve your money problems. That's another episode. So I want to just break down what living paycheck to paycheck actually means, and in a way that it can resonate with you. So living paycheck to paycheck simply means you're spending everything you make, right? So you get paid, and let's say you pay yourself every 2 weeks if you're a business owner, or you get paid every 2 weeks if you have a job. You spend that amount of money pretty much down to zero. Maybe there's a little bit left. So you need that next paycheck to come in. There's not like this cushion of money available to you if you weren't going to get paid. Okay. So living paycheck to paycheck means that you're relying on the next paycheck to make ends meet. So if you don't have, a great emergency fund, that is you. So you could be making multiple six figures and still be living check to check. And here's proof. I already told you that 70% of U.S. households live check to check. But I'm going to go deeper. About 44% of households that earn $100,000 or more are living check to check. And even among households making $250,000 or more, 25% of them are also spending it all. So if you ever thought I make too much money to be living this close to the edge, you're not alone. It's happening at every income level, and that's exactly why financial literacy alone isn't enough. Think about it. Most people already know the basics. We all know that carrying credit card debt costs you money and that you shouldn't carry your balance from month to month, right? If you're going to use a credit card, we all know that we should be paying it off and not carrying the balance from month to month. We all know that saving on a consistent basis builds up our financial security. We all know that we should have, 6 months of expenses, plus we should have savings for things like vacations. But are we doing it? We all know that we should be investing early and often, yet many of us are not doing it. We know all of this, but knowing isn't doing. And that's the trap of financial literacy. It just gives you information. It tells you what you should be doing, but it doesn't help you to actually do it. Because again, we all know what we should be doing, but most of us were not doing it. Okay? So that's why you can read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, watch all the TikToks, and still feel like you're on a hamster wheel when it comes to your finances. So you may be like, okay, Jermaine, I understand. You make a lot of sense. The statistics show that even though we have all this literacy, this financial literacy, all these resources that teach us about money, even though we have all that, we're still not applying what we're learning. So what's the answer? Well, that's where financial coaching comes in. Financial coaching bridges the gap between what you know and what you actually do. Because here's the difference. Paying off credit card debt, that's easy, right? You know that you can do it. You could probably use willpower to get yourself to do it. But staying out of debt, that's financial coaching. So setting up automatic transfers to a high yield savings account, that's super easy to do. You can use willpower to do that. But not dipping into it every time you feel the urge, that comes from financial coaching. Going on a no spend challenge, you can download any no spend challenge from the internet and you can follow it for a couple weeks or maybe even 30 days. That's easy. But learning to process your emotions like stress, boredom, and loneliness outside of retail therapy and spending, that comes from financial coaching. Putting money into your 401k, that's easy. Anybody can set that up. It happens automatically. But becoming the kind of woman who invests beyond that and actually leaves her 401k alone and not borrow from it, that comes from financial coaching. See the difference? Financial literacy gives you information, but financial coaching transforms you into someone different, someone who naturally does the things that will allow you to build wealth on autopilot. It's not about willpower, it's just who you are. So let me give you a real world example from one of my clients. When she first came to me, she was spending everything she made. She was living check to check, even though she made multiple six figures in her business, right? Her business revenue was multiple six figures. That doesn't mean that was her profit, but that was how much money she was bringing in, right? She had a variable income, which made her feel like her money was unpredictable. And so we had to clean all of that up. Instead of having those ebbs and flows with her finances, I helped her to learn how to pay herself consistently and really get to the root causes of her overspending and to set up systems in her personal finances and in her business that allowed her to have consistent savings, to get out of credit card debt and stay out, learning how to manage her mind around debt and money and all the things. So here's what she had to say. Jermaine helped me to shift my thinking around money. She helped me to learn financial literacy, but also apply it to my life. And now I have a brand new relationship with money. And she recently sent me this message, and I just want to share it with you all. She just said, I got a lump sum this week, and the biggest question on my mind was which account should I put it in? In the past, it would have been, which bill should I pay off first? But now I get to actually see it grow in one of my accounts. And this is a totally different feeling that I love. So see, that's the difference. Financial literacy is about information, which we all need. We need information. But financial coaching is about taking that information, applying it to your life, and transforming into someone who builds wealth on a consistent basis. Because the issue is a lot of us are just consuming information, but we're not doing anything with it. So our lives, our financial lives are the same as they were a year ago or 2 years ago. But when you apply it, then you transform into someone else. Now listen, transformation, that takes time. I want you to think about a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. That process isn't quick. It isn't pretty. And it definitely isn't comfortable, but it's necessary. And here's the truth. You, my friend, have to choose your hard. Listen, it's hard to go through the process of becoming a butterfly. It's also hard to remain a caterpillar all your life when you're born to become this beautiful butterfly, flying around and exploring the world, right? And the same is true for you. It's hard to change your habits, to transform into someone who's good with money, who builds wealth on autopilot. But it's also hard to be stressing about money all the time, to feel like you should be further along, to be waking up at 3 a.m. thinking about your finances. Both paths are uncomfortable, but one leads to freedom, financial security, and just the ability to enjoy your life at a different level. And the other one leads to a life sentence of money issues. Which one are you going to choose? Right? Which one? That is a question that I really want you to think about because the choice is yours. Both are hard. So either way, it's hard. It's hard to be stressed about money. It's hard to be stuck in credit card debt. It's hard to not have savings. It's hard to be investing very little. It's hard to overspend and to be stressing about that and wondering where all your money goes. That's hard. It's also going to be hard to learn how to do things differently. But one of them is gratifying, and there's a light at the end of that tunnel, and it's actually part of the journey, and you get to enjoy that and be proud of yourself for all that you're learning, the trust you're building with yourself, how you're becoming the person that you always knew you could be. That is part of that journey. Even though it's hard, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and that light is not an oncoming train, right? The light is like, oh my gosh, I finally figured this money thing out. And I'm so proud of myself. I'm so glad that I went for it. I'm so glad that I challenged myself to do it differently, to take everything that I'm learning and actually apply in it because I invested in myself with money coaching. So with that, I want to offer you to join me for my one-to-one financial coaching program. If you've been stuck in the information mode, reading all the books, listening to all the podcasts, downloading all the apps, watching all the TikToks or YouTubes, but you're still spending everything you make, you're not building wealth, you're still stuck in the credit card debt cycle, your savings are like, meh, not enough, right? Then one-to-one financial coaching is where your transformation can begin, where you'll take all that you've learned and actually apply it to your life so that you can create a different experience. So you'll go from spending everything you make to saving consistently, from running up debt to finally breaking that cycle for good. And instead of counting down to payday, you actually forget that it's payday. That, my friend, that's a good feeling. That right there, that's one of the best feelings in the world. And I can remember when it happened for me, where it was just like, oh, I got paid yesterday. Okay, that's pretty cool, right? And so with that, you are invited to sign up for one-to-one financial coaching. And this is how it starts. You just book a consultation. It's complimentary. You can go to jermainefoley.com/consult, pick a time that works for you, answer a few easy questions, and then we'll meet on Zoom. On that call, we will just look at where you are, where you want to go, and I will literally give you a 3-part plan that I will design specifically for you. This will not be cookie cutter based on what you tell me during that consultation. And then I'll make an offer for you to work with me if I think it's a good fit. Okay? This call is no pressure, but it is for people who are seriously considering financial coaching. Okay? If that's you, all you got to do is go to jermainefoley.com/consult. That's Jermaine with the G. You can also find that link in the show notes. I would love to meet you, and I would love to help you take all of the information you've been gathering over the years and actually apply it to your life through financial coaching so that you can make a transformation, so that you can become someone totally different and someone who creates totally different financial results in your life. All right, I hope to meet you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, if money is the one area of life you just can't seem to figure out, even though you make good money, you're not alone. That's why you're invited to book a complimentary one-to-one money consultation with me so that we can figure out how to solve your biggest money challenges. To sign up, simply go to jermainefoley.com/consult or check out the show notes. Hope to meet you soon.